My name is Elena M. Rowan. I'm 31 years old, and for a while I honestly believed I was living in a romantic comedy. The kind where the hardworking girl from the wrong side of town finally gets her happy ending with the charming younger guy, complete with a dreamy proposal and a glittering ring. Turns out it was less romantic comedy and more heist movie, and I was supposed to be the mark. I grew up poor, hand-me-down clothes, generic cereal, working part-time from the minute I could. I clawed my way through a state college on scholarships and night shifts, then spent my 20s building a software development company from a beat-up laptop and a folding table. Now the company does well, very well. After taxes, I clear about $400,000 a year. I own a house with a view, a Tesla, and an investment portfolio that makes my accountant smile. Cassian is 28, my now ex-fiancé. When we met, he was an influencer and part-time yoga instructor, making about $30,000 a year on a good year. He was funny, attentive, and charming in that easy, social media way, always knowing his angles, always ready with a joke. 2 years together, 3 months engaged. I thought I'd finally found my person. Our engagement party was held at his parents' country club, old money territory. Crystal chandeliers, soft jazz, white-gloved servers. About 150 guests, mostly their friends and relatives. His dad, Reggie, is the kind of man whose suit looks like it costs more than my first car. His mom, Diane, moves through a room like she's checking on her subjects. They've always been particular about my background. Polite, but distant. I wasn't born into their world. I just bought my way near it. They liked, however, that their son landed someone successful. That's the word they used. Successful. Not kind, not loyal, not good for him. Just successful. During the speeches, Cassian had a few champagnes, maybe more than a few. His smile got looser, his jokes a little sharper. One of his cousins called out from the mic, grinning. "Cassian, how did you know Elena was the one?" Cassian laughed, that tinkling practice laugh he does when he's performing. "Well," he said, "I looked at my bank account, then looked at hers, and thought, I could get used to this." People chuckled, but it was the kind of laughter that has an edge to it. His dad shifted in his seat. I felt a tiny crack open in my chest. The cousin pressed, "But seriously, you love her, right?" "Of course," Cassian said, raising his glass toward me. "I love everything about her. Her house, her Tesla, her investment portfolio." More laughter, nervous this time. My cheeks burned, but I forced a smile. "I'm kidding," he added quickly. "But seriously, after dating all those broke artists and musicians, finding someone with actual money was like, finally." He winked at the crowd. "I'm marrying her for the money, obviously." There it was, out loud. Everyone laughed again because what else do you do when someone says something awful and calls it a joke? I laughed too. The sound came out brittle in my own ears. Inside, though, something snapped. Before I could think better of it, I lifted my glass. "Good thing we signed that prenup this morning, right, babe?" The room went silent. Cassian's face went from flushed pink to sheet white, so fast it was almost comical. If my entire future hadn't been hanging in the balance. His parents stared at him, then at me, eyes wide. Somewhere in the back I saw my best friend Dale, phone in hand, recording like always. Cassian swallowed hard. "What?" "The prenup," I said lightly, tilting my head. "The one your dad's lawyer recommended?" I looked straight at Reggie. "You did recommend we get a prenup, right?" Reggie frowned. "I never. What prenup?" "Oh," I said, letting my voice stay calm even as my heart pounded. "The one I had drawn up. Cassian signed it this morning. Standard stuff. What's mine before marriage stays mine. What's his stays his. You know." Cassian shot to his feet so fast he nearly knocked over the table. "We need to talk. Now." "After the party, sweetheart," I said, still smiling. My hand shook just enough that I curled it tighter around the stem of my glass. "Now." His voice cracked on the word. He stormed off toward the hallway. A few guests shifted awkwardly. Someone coughed. I followed him, but not before catching Dale's eye. He gave me a tiny nod and kept recording. In the hallway, the country club's soft lighting felt suddenly harsh. Cassian spun around, eyes wild. "What prenup?" I blinked at him. "Really? This morning? The papers you signed at breakfast?" "Those were wedding venue contracts," he snapped. "No," I said quietly. "Those were definitely prenup documents. You signed 3 copies. We even had them notarized with Janet from my office." His mouth fell open. You tricked me. My chest tightened. You just announced to everyone in there that you're marrying me for money. It was a joke, he shouted. Was it, though? I asked. He started to cry, ugly crying, the kind where the mask slips and you see the panic underneath. I can't believe you'd do this to me. I can't believe you'd spring legal documents on me like that. I can't believe you'd stand in front of 150 people and reduce me to my bank account, I shot back. If you're not a gold digger, then the prenup shouldn't matter. He stared at me like I'd stabbed him. Then he slapped his hand against the wall. We're done. The wedding's off. Okay, I said. He blinked. That's it? Yeah, I replied. You want out because of a prenup? That tells me everything I need to know. He screamed wordless frustration and stormed back toward the party. I could hear him telling anyone who would listen that I'd deceived him, trapped him, tricked him. Through the doorway, I saw his parents' faces, mortified, but not at me, at him. Here's the kicker. There was no prenup. Those papers he signed at breakfast, they were exactly what he thought they were, venue contracts. I never changed them. I never filed anything. But his reaction told me everything I needed to know about the man I almost married. The next 3 days felt like living inside a thunderstorm. Loud, chaotic, impossible to get a moment of peace. My phone wouldn't stop vibrating. Missed calls, notifications, mentions, messages from numbers I didn't recognize. Cassian had moved back into his parents' house within hours of the engagement party ending. He packed everything he could shove into the Range Rover and left behind nothing but a single note on my kitchen counter. You're a manipulative psychopath. That was it. No apology, no explanation, just accusations. By Sunday morning, Diane, his mother, called, not to apologize for her son publicly announcing he was marrying me for the money, not to check if I was okay. No, she called to scold. You humiliated our family, she said sharply. I blinked. Your son joked, multiple times, that he was marrying me for my house and my bank account. He was joking, she snapped. You're the one who lied about legal documents. I never said he signed a prenup, I replied calmly. I asked if it was good we signed one. He assumed. You tricked him into revealing his true character. Yeah, I said. I guess I did. She hung up on me. An hour later, Reggie called. His tone was different. Steady, controlled, almost resigned. Is there actually a prenup? He asked quietly. No. A long silence fell between us. But he thinks there is, Reggie murmured. And he dumped you the second he believed he couldn't touch your money. Yes, Reggie exhaled. I'm sorry, Elena. I suspected, the way he talked about your lifestyle. But I hoped I was wrong. You and me both, I said. For what it's worth, I think you dodged a bullet. But Cassian wasn't done. Not even close. By Monday afternoon, he had gone full nuclear on social media. He posted a long rant on Instagram about narcissistic abuse and financial manipulation, claiming he had been deceived, trapped, and gaslit. He shared a close-up shot of his tear-stained face for sympathy. He wrote paragraphs about how I preyed on his trust and emotionally controlled him with my money. Conveniently, he left out the part where he declared to a room full of people that he was marrying me for my assets. His friends jumped into the comments immediately. You're so brave. She doesn't deserve you. You loved her, and she used you. My DMs filled with insults and threats from strangers who only knew his version of the story. I should have been angry, but mostly, I felt numb. Then Dale, my best friend since college, sent me a text. Ready for me to post it? I hesitated. If you do, there's no coming back for him. Dale replied, Elena, he did this to himself. The truth is the truth. 5 minutes later, the video went up. The entire engagement party. His jokes. The repeated marrying her for money comments. His meltdown over the prenup. The hallway confrontation. The internet flipped in less than an hour. Oh wow, he exposed himself. Girl dodged a gold digger. The way he panicked over the prenup says everything. He literally admitted it. Cassian tried to fight it, posting that the video was edited and taken out of context. Dale responded by uploading the full, uncut, hour and 43-minute recording. The comment section turned into a wildfire, and Cassian was standing in the center. Then, in the middle of all this, my business lawyer reached out. He sent one simple text. Quick question. That Range Rover you got him, is it titled in your name or his? Mine. Insurance too. Every paper. Want it back? He asked. I paused. Can I do that? You're not married, he replied. No prenup needed for gifts you never transferred ownership of. It's legally still your property. It felt cold, petty, vindictive, but it also felt necessary. By Tuesday afternoon, the Range Rover was gone from Reggie's driveway, repossessed legally and cleanly. 20 minutes later, Cassian called me from another number. "You stole my car!" "My car," I corrected. "Check the title." "It was a gift." "Then show me where I transferred ownership." "You're a monster." "I'm a monster who still owns a Range Rover." He hung up in a rage. 30 minutes later, Diane called again, this time furious enough that her voice shook. "Return that car immediately." "No." "We will call the police." "Please do," I said. "I have every document proving it's legally mine." "You gave it to him." "I let him use it. He never owned it." "What do you want? Money? An apology?" "I don't want anything. I'm done." There was a beat of silence. "She made a mistake, Elena. She revealed who he really is." Then the line went dead. But the universe wasn't finished peeling back layers. That evening, I received a message from Piper, one of Cassian's closest friends, someone I thought would hate me by default. "Hey, you probably don't want to hear from any of us, but you should know something. Cassian's been bragging for months about how he was going to secure the bag." I froze. He had a whole plan. Marry you, quit working, have a kid immediately to lock things down. Then she sent screenshots. A Pinterest board titled Trophy Husband Life. Photos of my house captioned Future Home Base. Screenshots of my company valuation. Articles about how to get pregnant fast after marriage. Even posts about maintaining attraction until the ring is secured. But the worst part? A group chat. His 5-year plan written out like a business strategy. Year 1, marriage plus quick pregnancy. Year 2, quit working. Year 3, second baby for security. Year 4, increase lifestyle expenses. Year 5, divorce if needed. Maximize support with 2 kids. And the chilling final message? The prenup thing is my only worry. Need to avoid signing anything before the wedding. If she brings it up, I'll act too emotional to deal with legal stress. I stared at the messages until my eyes blurred, then forwarded everything to Reggie. He responded within minutes. Jesus Christ. I didn't know it then, but this was the beginning of the collapse of Cassian's entire life. Reggie called the next morning. There was no warmth in his voice this time, only a cold, businesslike tone I had never heard from him before. "I've seen everything," he said. "The Pinterest board, the group chat, the 5-year plan, all of it." I swallowed. "I'm sorry. I didn't know what else to do but show you." "No," he replied sharply. "You did the right thing. I built my wealth to give my children opportunities, not to help them prey on someone else's success." I froze at his next words. He's cut off. "Reggie, that feels harsh. You don't understand. He's 28 years old, living off my money, planning to con a good woman into supporting him, possibly for life. Now Diane and I have to deal with the consequences of never making him responsible." His voice trembled with shame more than anger. "Thank you, Elena. You saved us from funding a worse version of our own son." I didn't know what to say. Reggie had always been composed, almost regal, but now I could hear something breaking. "Cassian has 30 days to find a job and a place to live," he continued. "Credit cards are canceled, allowance is done." "What about Diane?" I asked. "She agrees," he said flatly. "She's disgusted. We both are." It was strange. I had expected anger. Instead, what I heard was regret, and something that sounded dangerously close to heartbreak. But Cassian, he reacted exactly how I expected, which is to say, badly. That afternoon, he called me from yet another unknown number. His voice cracked with panic. "What did you tell my dad?" he demanded. "The truth," I answered simply. "He cut me off. All my cards were declined. I can't pay rent. I can't even buy groceries." "That sounds like a personal problem," I said quietly. "Not mine." "This is your fault," he shouted. "You ruined my life." "No," I replied. "You did that. I just stopped covering for you. I'm going to be homeless. You're 28 with a college degree, Cassian. Get a job." "I hate you." "Good," I said, my voice steady. "That makes this easier." He hung up, but he wasn't done trying. Not even close. Later that day, security at my office called to say Cassian was downstairs demanding to see me. I told them to escort him out. They tried. He fought. Hard. By the time I went down, he looked like a different person. Wild-eyed, mascara smudged. Apparently he'd been crying again. Hair disheveled, wearing old sweats. The influencer glow was gone. Just desperation remained. "Please," he begged. "Elena, I'm sorry. I didn't mean any of it. I love you." "No," I said, "you don't. I do, he insisted. The money stuff was just stupid jokes. The 5-year plan was... A joke? I asked softly. He froze. How did you... He started. Piper, I said, your best friend. Cashin's grief turned to rage so fast it was whiplash. That backstabber, he spat. And right there, that was it. That was the mask falling off. That, I said, is the real you. Angry at being exposed, not at doing something wrong. He looked furious and helpless at the same time. You're throwing away 2 years over this? I'm avoiding a lifetime of manipulation. Security moved closer. Ma'am, do you want him escorted out? Cashin ignored them. I'm not leaving without my ring. Oh, that ring. A $45,000 cushion-cut diamond. Perfect clarity. He loved flaunting it online more than I did wearing it. I crossed my arms. The ring you're wearing? It's mine. No, it's a gift, he snapped. You gave it to me. Actually, legally, it's a conditional gift, I replied. The condition was marriage. No marriage, no ring. He stared at me, stunned. You get to keep it, I added, until the original wedding date passes. Then I want it back. You can't do this. Watch me. Security escorted him out the doors while he screamed. Guests in the lobby stared. A waiter dropped a tray. When the doors shut behind him, I finally took a deep breath, and that's when my phone buzzed with a notification from my Tesla app. Cashin had keyed my car. Badly. Deep scratches all the way down the side like he wanted to carve his name into my future permanently. There were cameras everywhere. I filed a police report. Insurance followed through. Reggie, when he found out, told me, let the law handle it. And I did. But Cassian still wasn't finished destroying his own life. He spiraled, hard. A few days later, Piper reached out again. Hesitant. Guilty. Listen, she wrote. He's asking all of us to lie to his lawyer. He wants us to say you were emotionally abusive. He's messaging everyone. He even contacted your exes. I stared at the screen. What else could he possibly do? I didn't realize the answer was a lot. An hour later, my ex-boyfriend Riley texted me. Cassian messaged me asking if you were abusive. I told him you were the best girlfriend I ever had, and he's an idiot. He blocked me after LOL. Another ex, Zoe, messaged me too. He's fishing for dirt. I told him to get therapy. Should I be worried? I sighed. No, I told her. Just stay away from him. Then came the last straw. A letter from a lawyer. A painfully dramatic, self-righteous letter accusing me of breach of promise, emotional damages, loss of lifestyle, defamation, and demanding $200,000. My lawyer literally laughed. Cassian publicly admitted he was marrying you for money, she said. There's no verbal contract. Also, truth is an absolute defense. Then she added, we'll counter for the Tesla damage, $8,000. We sent the notice. Cassian went quiet. For the first time in weeks, the chaos paused. And then, out of nowhere, a woman named Harper messaged me. Hi, you don't know me. I'm Cassian's ex-girlfriend. He tried something similar with me, moving in, living off my salary, pressuring me to avoid a prenup if we got married. He plays the long game. Be glad you escaped. I sat back, stunned. So I wasn't the first, just the biggest prize. And suddenly, everything made sense in a horrifying way. Cassian didn't love people. He leveraged them, one relationship at a time, until eventually someone fought back. That someone was me. 2 weeks passed. 2 long, surreal weeks in which silence finally replaced chaos. The wedding, our wedding, was supposed to be in 3 months. A date we'd circled on calendars, dreamed about, argued about colors and menus over. I had imagined walking down an aisle toward a future I thought was real. Now that date sat on my phone like a ghost reminder of a life I narrowly escaped. On what would have been our 3 months to go checkpoint, I boarded a plane to Cabo with Dale and a few friends. We spent the day on the beach drinking overpriced cocktails, laughing at the absurdity of it all, and watching the sun sink into the ocean like it was washing away the last of that life. The freedom tasted like salt and tequila. When I got home, a letter from Cassian's lawyer arrived. Or rather, an update from the civil suit I filed. The judge barely needed 10 minutes. The engagement ring, the $45,000 cushion-cut diamond Cassian flaunted online, was ruled a conditional gift. No marriage, no ring. He was ordered to return it immediately and pay my legal fees. Cassian tried to fight it. He claimed the ring was a gift, that I'd given it unconditionally, that I owed him emotional damages. The judge, after watching the engagement party video, said one sentence I'll never forget. You admitted, sir, that you intended to marry her specifically for her wealth. This court will not reward deception. Cassian was forced to hand the ring over. I sold it for $38,000. Then I donated half to a financial literacy program for young women. girls who grew up like me, who needed help learning how to build and protect their own futures. It felt poetic. Meanwhile, Cassian's life collapsed, and not in a dramatic movie way, in a slow, humiliating, real-world way. Mutual acquaintances shared bits and pieces. His parents held firm. 30 days to move out, no more allowances, no more paid credit cards. He was halfway through the deadline and making no progress. When he tried to crash at Piper's place, she blocked him after he confronted her about the screenshots. His influencer career tanked overnight. His brand deals evaporated. His engagement numbers plummeted. People unfollowed him in droves. Nobody believed his narcissistic abuse survivor narrative after the full engagement party video went viral. He ended up sleeping on a cousin's couch, working part-time at a department store makeup counter, living with 3 roommates in a rundown apartment, posting vague inspirational quotes about healing from betrayal. It would have been sad if it hadn't been so predictable. Then Diane reached out, again. Not to reconcile, not to apologize, just to warn me. You should know, she said quietly. Cassian is planning something. What now? I asked. He's been talking to attorneys about suing you for breach of promise again, and he's reached out to your exes. He wants someone to say you were abusive. I already know, I replied. Diane sighed. He's also trying to smear you with extended family, and he's been telling people the Range Rover was his push present for having kids with you. I almost choked. Push present? We didn't even have kids. I know. Her voice was tired, as if weighed down by years of enabling. We're embarrassed. I'm sorry, Elena, truly. I believed her, but I didn't trust her son. 2 weeks later, I received the funniest, most surreal email of the entire saga. Cassian had applied for a grant from the new financial literacy foundation Reggie created, a foundation whose board I had joined. He didn't know I was on it. His application was a masterpiece of delusion. He wrote about overcoming financial abuse, about healing after being manipulated, about starting over after betrayal. He claimed he'd never been given a fair chance. He admitted he had never held a real job before age 28 and blamed me for it. The board voted unanimously to deny the grant, not because of me, but because Cassian's application made it clear he wanted financial support without personal accountability. As the board chair said, we don't fund entitlement. I didn't laugh until I got home. Then I laughed for a full minute. And somewhere in all this, life moved on for me. Quietly, softly, in a way I almost didn't notice. His name is Lucas, a pediatric surgeon. Sharp, grounded, steady, in a way that feels safe rather than controlling. He makes more than I do, and doesn't care about the numbers on either of our paychecks. When I told him, cautiously, about the prenup situation, he laughed. Actually laughed. Then he said, I would have signed a real one. I protect my assets too. He insists on splitting everything 50-50. He treats me as an equal, not an opportunity. He asks about my day like he genuinely cares. He never flinches at my success. With him, I feel like a person, not a bank account. And as for Cassian, he's dating a crypto bro, the kind who makes big promises about revolutionary coins, the kind who still drives a 2008 Honda, the kind who convinced Cassian to invest his makeup counter savings into a coin that crashed hard. When Cassian posted a tearful video about being scammed by another narcissist, Piper commented, maybe date for character instead of wallets. The video disappeared within an hour. Sometimes the best revenge is no revenge at all. It's letting people face the consequences of who they are while you walk away to build the life they could never give you. Cassian wanted to marry money instead of a person, and now he has neither. And honestly, we're both exactly where we deserve to be.